Hello, welcome back to your 40-day journey. And today is day 32. We are going to be talking about the salt of the earth. The salt of the earth. This is a message that the Lord is giving the people that are surrounding him. This took place at the Sermon on the Mount where he talked about the Beatitudes. But the Sermon on the Mount is talking about the profile of people from the kingdom of heaven, the people that he is looking for. In this profile, this is one of them. Okay, Matthew 5:13, and he says, "Your lives are like salt among the people. But if you, like salt, become bland, how can your saltiness be restored?" How can your saltiness be restored? And he's talking about the world. How can the saltiness in the world, the flavor in the world be restored if us, being this salt, are not doing the job that we're supposed to do? Okay? Flavorless salt is good for nothing and will be thrown out and trampled by others, trampled on by others. That is what the Lord was telling them as he talked about the light of the lamp, the light of the world. We talked about that yesterday. He followed this message with the message that we talked about yesterday. Okay? Now, after speaking of salt, Jesus spoke of lighting a lamp, right? But this was a common practice in the time of Jesus. Why? Because they will put salt on the wick of the lamp to increase how bright it was, to bring more brightness to the darkness, if I may say. Okay? Now, this was another thing. We need to understand that if we are not doing the job that we're supposed to do, we're going to become bland, right? Now, the Old Testament parallels to this parable is found in Leviticus 2:13. And this is what it says. "Season all your grain offerings with salt to remind you of God's eternal covenant. Never forget to add salt to your grain offerings." Never forget it. Okay, Numbers 18:19 says this, "Yes, I am giving you all these holy offerings that the people of Israel bring to the Lord. They are for you and your sons and daughters to be eaten as your permanent share. This is an eternal and unbreakable covenant between the Lord and you, and it also applies to your descendants." And how amazing is this last statement? That it also applied to our descendants. Why? Because it's not just about you. It's about those who come after you. You know, our descendants, our sons, our daughters, our grandkids, our great-grandkids. The Lord is talking to us today to understand this because he knows that we can basically affect the lives or those who come after us. And he's saying, your descendants, this applies to them as well. How can we not teach them what we are learning today? And it might be something as a fairy tale to a lot of people, but it's not to us. And we take the Word of God very seriously. We know that this is the base for our lives. We know that this is the foundation for our daily living, our culture, and how we think, how we act, and how we should be talking. Okay? Now, the opening thought for this parable is that salt only works through contact. He's telling us that we must have contact with the world in order for us to bring flavor to it. We need to have contact with our friends, with our coworkers, with our family members, because that is the only way that they're going to find out how this culture tastes. Okay? Jesus said when he started his ministry, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And this is what we're telling you today. We're being an echo to his voice. The kingdom of heaven is at hand, and we can start living in the kingdom today. We don't have to wait until we die, until we pass from this world. We can start living it today. And how do we do that? Bringing salt. Bringing salt to those around us, anywhere, everywhere. Okay, that is our responsibility. I keep stressing this enough, or maybe I'm not stressing it enough, that whenever we have a calling, whenever we have an encounter with the Lord, if you're listening to this message, the Lord is bringing an invitation to you to open the door, to receive His calling. And He says, carry your cross and follow me. And carrying that cross is the responsibility that He is putting in our shoulders today, so that we may share this gospel, this good news, this message. Whatever the message is, all you have to do is open your mouth and understand that the Lord is doing something. He is doing something in between, in the midst of your lives, so that other people may find flavor in their lives as well. Because they're searching, they're looking, they're in search of something. They're in search of filling their heart. They're feeling their emptiness in their hearts, in their minds, in their lives. They don't know what it is. But the Lord is trying to use you and me to bring that fulfillment in their hearts. And the way that that's going to stick in there is the flavor, the salt. Bring flavor to their lives. Okay? How are you going to do that? The Lord will tell you. The Lord is telling us today, and the Lord will tell you as well. Okay? Now, what is the focal point for this parable? That Jesus says the salt that loses its flavor becomes useless. Okay? If you've heard these messages, if you're trying to walk in the Lord, all you have to do is say, Lord, bring that saltiness in my life to see what flavors will come out of it, to see what I need to do, and He will show you. I assure you that He will show you. Okay? Now, salt, that's three things. It preserves, it seasons, and it prevents decay. And I say it again, preserves the food, preserves the culture, preserves your thinking, preserves your living. Okay? It seasons your life. It seasons your ideas. It seasons everything that you do, because the Lord is bringing ideas to your life and to your daily living. Okay? And it prevents decay. It prevents people going the other way. It prevents people doing the wrong thing. It prevents us from sinning or sidewalking again. You know, the Lord wants us to be in this path. And that is what we're going to do when we have salt in our lives. In other words, we have His flavor, okay? Now, the heart posture for this parable is the peacemakers. Matthew 5:9 talks about that. Peacemakers need to remain present where decay threatens, okay? We need to remain present where decay is trying to do its job, and we're not going to allow it. We're not going to allow it, because the Lord is in you, is in us, and we are going to do the work that we're supposed to do. Now, withdrawal weakens the witness, the people that are witnessing what we're doing. So we need to be strong. We need to engage. We need to preserve the influence that the Lord is giving us today. We have to be influential to other people, but it doesn't matter how much influence you have. All you need to know is that this influence is going to continue to grow. It starts out small, and it will end up really big, because that's how the Lord works. Okay? Don't give up. You have to persevere in this work. You have to persevere in this walk with the Lord, and you will find your purpose completely. Okay? Now, God's people were always meant to live among, not apart. We need to be in contact with other people. We cannot be apart. And this reminds me that Paul says that we need to congregate, and don't do as other people used to do or like to do. You know, we need to congregate with other people, because this is what brings salt to our daily living. Now, what is the invitation for today? The invitation for today is that this isn't about isolation. It's about influence. Use the influence that the Lord is giving you. Doesn't matter if it's an influence with one individual or 10 or 100 or 1,000. Use your influence to influence them to walk in the path, in the right path. Okay? Because transformation requires proximity. In order for us to be transformed, we need to have proximity with that which will help us be transformed. If you get underneath the sun, you're going to be transformed into this dark individual. If you get into the cold weather or the winter, you're going to become pale, right? And you're going to become very cold. But that is the same thing that if we're in proximity of other people. We cannot allow to conform to the things of this world, like Romans 12:2 says. We need to bring the culture, the kingdom culture, to our friends, our family, our co-workers, and everywhere we go. Now, the reflection for today, 4 questions, and this is day 32. Imagine how many questions we have gone through. And we hope, and our prayer is that you will do these questions, that you will reflect on them. And it says this: where do I withdraw instead of engaging? Question 2, do I confuse holiness with distance? Question 3, how do I preserve what matters? And question 4, what is God asking me to stay present? And with those questions, we want to leave you to it. We'll see you tomorrow, and God bless you.